Dear friends, welcome to Glimpses of World History by the legendary architect of modern India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. You are about to experience this masterpiece narrated through an artificial recreation of Nehru's voice. Before we begin, I kindly request that you set aside your mobile devices and listen with full attention and tranquility. Thank you.
Letter number 5. The Old Civilizations and Our Inheritance. January 19, year 1931. I read yesterday in the Bharat, the Hindi newspaper which brings us some news of the outside world twice a week, that your mummy was not being properly treated in the Malacca Gaol. Also that she is going to be sent to Lucknow Gaol. I was put out a little and I worried. Perhaps there was no truth in the rumor given in the Bharat. But even a doubt about it is not good to have. It is easy enough to put up with discomfort and suffering oneself. It does everyone good, as otherwise we might grow too soft. But it is not very easy or comforting to think of the suffering of others who are dear to us, especially if we can do nothing for them. And so the doubt that the Bharat raised in my mind made me worry about Mummy. She is brave and has the heart of a lioness. But she is weak in body, and I would not like her body to become weaker. What can we do, however stout-hearted we may be, if our bodies fail us? If we want to do any work well, we must have health and strength and perfect bodies. Perhaps it is as well that Mummy is going to be sent to Lucknow. She may be more comfortable and happier there, and there will be some companions in Lucknow Gaol. Probably she is alone in Malacca. Still, it was pleasant to think that she was not far, just 4 or 5 miles away from our prison. But this is a foolish fancy. 5 miles or 150 miles are much the same when the high walls of 2 prisons intervene. I was so glad to learn today that Dadu had come back to Allahabad and that he was better. I was also very pleased to learn that he had gone to see Mummy in Malacca Gaol. Perhaps, with luck, I may see all of you tomorrow. For tomorrow is my interview day, and in Gaol, the Mulaqat ke din is a great day. I have not seen Dadu for nearly 2 months. I shall see him, I hope, and satisfy myself that he is really better. And I shall see you after a long, long fortnight, and you will bring me news of yourself and of Mummy. Oh, I write on a foolish things, although I sat down to write to you about past history. Let us try to forget the present for a while and go back 2,000 or 3,000 years. Of Egypt and of ancient Knossos in Crete, I wrote to you a little in some of my previous letters. And I told you that the ancient civilizations took root in these 2 countries, as well as in what is now called Iraq or Mesopotamia, and in China and India and Greece. Greece, perhaps, came a little later than the others, so that the civilization of India takes rank in age with its sister civilizations of Egypt and China and Iraq, and even ancient Greece is a younger sister of these. What happened to these ancient civilizations? Knossos is no more. Indeed, for nearly 3,000 years it has been no more. The people of the younger civilization of Greece came and destroyed it. The old civilization of Egypt, after a splendid history lasting for thousands of years, vanished and left no trace behind it except the great pyramids and the Sphinx and the ruins of great temples and mummies and the like. Of course, Egypt, the country, is still there, and the river Nile flows through it as of old, and men and women live in it as in other countries. But there is no connecting link between these modern people and the old civilization of their country. Iraq and Persia, how many empires have flourished there and followed each other into oblivion? Babylonia and Assyria and Chaldea, to mention the oldest only. And the great cities of Babylon and Nineveh. The Old Testament in the Bible is full of the record of these people. Later, in this land of ancient history, other empires flourished and then ceased to flourish. Here was Baghdad, the magic city of the Arabian Nights. But empires come and empires go. and the biggest and proudest of kings and emperors struck on the world stage for a brief while only. But civilizations endure. In Iraq and Persia, however, the old civilization went utterly, even as the old civilization of Egypt. Greece in her ancient days was great indeed, and people read even now of her glory with wonder. We stand awed and wonder struck before the beauty of her marble statuary and read the fragments of her old literature that have come down to us with reverence and amazement. It is said, and rightly, that modern Europe is in some ways the child of ancient Greece. So much has Europe been influenced by Greek thought and Greek ways. But the glory that was Greece, where is it now? For ages past, the old civilization has been no more, and other ways have taken its place, and Greece today is but a petty country in the southeast of Europe. Knossos, Iraq, and Greece, they have all gone. Their old civilizations, even as Babylon and Nineveh, have ceased to exist. What then of the two other ancients in this company of old civilizations? What of China and India? As in other countries, they too have had empire after empire. There have been invasions and destructions and loot on a vast scale. Dynasties of kings have ruled for hundreds of years and then been replaced by others. All this has happened in India and China as elsewhere, but nowhere else, apart from India and China, has there been a real continuity of civilization. In spite of all the changes and battles and invasions, the thread of the ancient civilizations has continued to run on in both these countries. It is true that both of them have fallen greatly from their old estate, and that the ancient cultures are covered up with a heap of dust and sometimes filth which the long ages have accumulated. But still they endure, and the old Indian civilization is the basis of Indian life even today. New conditions have arisen in the world now, and the coming of the steamship and the railway and the great factory has changed the face of the world. It may be, it is indeed probable, that they will change as they are already changing the face of India also. But it is interesting and rather wonderful to think of this long range and continuity of Indian culture and civilization right from the dawn of history through long ages down to us. In a sense, we in India are the heirs of these thousands of years. We are in the direct line, it may be, with the ancients who came down through the northwestern mountain, passes into the smiling plains of what was to be known as Brahmavarta and Aryavarta and Bharatavarsha and Hindustan. Can you not see them trekking down the mountain passes into the unknown land below? Brave and full of the spirit of adventure, they dared to go ahead without fear of the consequences. If death came, they did not mind, they met it laughing. But they loved life and knew that the only way to enjoy life was to be fearless and not to worry about defeat and disaster. For defeat and disaster have a way of keeping away from those who are not afraid. Think of them, those distant ancestors of ours, marching on and suddenly reaching the banks of the noble Ganga, flowing majestically down to the sea. How the sight must have filled them with joy. And is it any wonder that they bowed down to her and praised her in their rich and melodious language? It is indeed wonderful to think that we are the heirs of all these ages. But let us not become conceited, for if we are the heirs of the ages, we are the heirs of both the good and the bad. And there is a great deal of evil in our present inheritance in India, a great deal that has kept us down in the world and reduced our noble country to great poverty and made her a plaything in the hands of others. But have we not decided that this must no longer continue?
Dear listeners, this was legendary. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's masterpiece, Glimpses of World History. You can listen to the Hindi version of it in the link shared in description. But please remember, creating informative content takes a lot of time and research. But it helps preserve important stories and helps people learn. Your support really matters. When you like, subscribe and share these videos, you help good content succeed instead of trashy videos. You're choosing education over entertainment, knowledge over nonsense. Support us through paying thanks, supers and subscriptions. Let's go to the next episode.